Back to the Future Part 4, Draft of Hill Valley Under the Sea. The Libyans from the VW camp are out looking for Doc for selling them the loose pinball machine parts. They drive down along past the train track until they pull over because they see pieces of a shiny silver car. They collect all the pieces up and find an old black and white half-writ photo on the ground of Doc at the clock tower and Marty in the Wild West. One of the Libyans finds a page from a phone book with Doc Brown's address circled out of Marty's pocket. They've hit the jackpot. The Libyans drive over to Doc's house where he's resting from his time-travelling excursions. It's the middle of the night and the Libyans are planning a way into his mansion to kidnap him and lock him in a cell at their warehouse until he explains how the car disappeared in Libyan they speak. They torture Doc, giving him very little food and daylight. They keep him in there until they find a translator that explains to Doc that the Libyans want Doc to mimic the car and build them a new one. Doc tells them where to steal a DeLorean whilst he gets busy building the time circuits in their factory using the Libyans' equipment. He needs a few parts from his mansion where they take him for the reactor. Take him to get some essentials for the reactor. They've already had the plutonium for the reactor. The Libyans are planning to take the time machine by boat across to Libya. Whilst the Libyans are taking the DeLorean DMC-12 across the sea, Biff and his henchmen are in another boat and hijack the time machine. Doc and Marty are then on the same boat with the time machine, only Doc and Marty are tied up. They free themselves. Doc tells Marty that they're going to drive the DeLorean into the sea. Fortunately, the DeLorean is this time waterproof and is sinking underwater. Doc activates the time circuits and they end up in the year 3085, only they are underwater, where there's mermaids and underwater goons. Soon as they land, they realise it's Hill Valley, only it's in the future, and Biff of the future, who has an underwater breathing apparatus, takes the DeLorean off them, and Marty and Doc are trapped in the year 3085 and no way of going back home unless they can some point later on trick Biff into leaving his office and steal the keys, sneaking into his vault to retract the time machine and set the coordinates for home, the year 2025, to be continued.